them on?
Yeah, whack them on.
They're about 3 years old.
Oh, how long did you turn them on? Because I just got a hydrogen sulfide smell.
Yeah, they are a while.
Yeah, just because they were a bit of dead water in the line.
They'll be alright, won't they?
Yeah, I mean, it wouldn't hurt to put a little bit of polyfilter in there, because if you were super unlucky, it was probably fine. But you've just got a little bit of
Oh, okay, it's a big deal to open up that after.
Oh yeah, that's a nightmare.
Yeah.
Yeah, you need to get an Awasa one, because the Awasa one's got a really good backwash function.
Yeah.
So that one's going to be a nightmare to clean.
Yeah, it is. All I do is rinse that.
Now the other thing is that always on, or is that controlling these functions?
No, that's all.
Okay, good.
Oh, yeah, that's
Hey, relax, dog. Yeah, a bit of polyfilter in there to get rid of the smell, because hydrogen sulfide can be poisonous if you're unlucky. Right. Now, if you have a pond like this one, the things that you want to test on a irregular basis is pH, which is just the amount of acidity in the water. Here in Sydney, our pH is alkaline, and then over a period of time it has a tendency to drop. And you definitely want to check KH, because sometimes the KH in Sydney tap water can be 0. And KH is important for your good bacteria, and KH is also your buffering capacity for the pH. So for a pond like this, I'd want to keep a KH of at least sort of 4. Then I will want to check the GH, and that's going to check your general hardness, and that will be your GH salts. So in a pond like this, I'd probably want to run around between 8 to 12. And if my GH is too low, I will add some GH crystals. If my GH is too high, I'll do a water change and not add them. Also be aware that large doses of water agent can also increase your GH. And then I would want to check ammonia and nitrite, particularly if I'm getting new fish or if I was concerned about the functioning of the filter. And then nitrate would be a good indicator of how often you're doing water changes. So even if you bring a sample of water down to Majestic aquariums, we can run it through our spin test, and we can find out your waste levels, ammonia, nitrite, nitrate. We can find out your hardness levels, GH and KH, and we can check your pH. And if you got a test like that done probably a couple of times a year, then at least that will give us some indication of what's going on and steer you in the right direction. Now, fish keeping is 50% about nutrients, so what food you feed is everything. This pond I would mainly feed probiotics and a bit of Danichi. That would be my choice of food. And then water quality is the other half of fish keeping. So bringing us a water sample. Well, I've got a water sample, I can test the water. And increasing the filtration would be a good thing. Right now there's a tiny little filter in here with an ineffective backwash that's very hard to clean. So due to the area, it's not going to be too easy to put a filter. Now the options that we do have is Aquarel. Aquarel make a filter that you can sit on the side that looks like a pot plant, and then the water can pump up through the pot plant back into the pond again. So that would be one option. Or you can also get what's called a PM 2600, which is an all-in-one UV sterilizer biological filter, and you would probably want 1 or 2 of them in this pond. You could start with 1 and see how you go, and that would go in the bottom, so you wouldn't even notice, because you don't always see things in the bottom. So it's quite common for people to feed their fish kale and cucumber and all sorts of terrestrial vegetables and so forth. And that's fine, peas and all that. It's all fine as far as flushing the animals out. But if you feed good quality foods like Danichi, that's got like clay in it, which actually flushes them out anyway. So it's a very natural way of flushing the animals out. So if you are going to feed any of those terrestrial chloroplast type things, don't do it regularly. Do it once a week or once every couple of weeks. And it's really not for nutrients, because fish aren't able to break down terrestrial chloroplast. It's too strong for them. So it's really just a way of flushing them out. So can't really see the fish in the video.
I can turn the sprinklers off if you want.
Oh, that's all right. We get the idea. How often are the sprinklers on?
Oh, I haven't turned them off for ages.
Because the other thing to be aware of,
Yep.
I would have them on a timer for sure.
Yep.
Because what happens with the pond is that if if this filter is sending and receiving under the water,
Yeah.
then your oxygen level will go down.
Right. Yeah.
And you have a lot of plant in there,
Yeah.
which means that your oxygen level will be high during the day
Yeah.
while the plants are photosynthesizing, but then your oxygen level will be low at night
Yeah.
because your surface agitation is basically zero.
Yeah.
So in a perfect world, either those sprinklers come on at night time, but that's probably going to piss you off because it's night.
No, I love the sound, but my neighbour just went ballistic.
Have you tried threatening the neighbour?
Oh no, you can't threaten her.
so look-
She's a nasty bit of works.
Oh,
Yeah.
okay.
Yeah. So
Did Callan not get him to threaten her? He's pretty big. It might work.
get your bite of fish, mate.
Yeah.
Love yous and leave yous. Come on, we've got to go.
So the surface agitation will help your oxygen, otherwise it might fall. Do you have to fart in all my videos?